Hello everybody, I'm Jose Betancourt, and as always thank you for viewing my videos. So here is the Fuji GF 23mm f4. I rented it from borrowlens.com. They are not sponsoring this video, by the way, but I wanted to rent a lens for my trip to Boston. We took my son to Williams College to continue the rest of his school semester, and we decided to spend the night over there and then drive to Vermont. So what I did was I rented the 23mm for my Fuji GFX 50R, and I wanted to see if trying to find the right word here, but the urge to purchase this lens was justified. That's what I was trying to say. I've been thinking about this lens, purchasing it for quite some time, because I plan to get into some interior photography. Of course, I do landscapes when I can, and I do architecture all over New York City. So I wanted to see how this lens would compare to my Nikon 28mm f3.5 PC lens. So, of course, there really isn't no competition, because the sharpness on this 23mm lens, the focus speed, is ridiculous. It is really good. And what comes out of this lens, the rendering, is beautiful. And of course, there's a 50 megapixel camera body, so you need a lot of glass to utilize this sensor properly. And the 23mm delivers. So let me show you some prints, a few photos that I've taken that I actually printed out. Actually, let me take this camera out of the way, because this print is the smallest of the ones that I'm going to show you. Let me lower the light a little bit. Okay, so this was taken in my neighborhood in Queens, New York, Elmhurst, Queens. This is Queens Boulevard, and it's a very busy road, and at one point it was known as the Boulevard of Death. Let me see if I could change the ISO a little bit. And so it is a very busy road. So there's a bank on Queens Boulevard, and it's the building you're looking at right now. And I waited for this lady to stop at the stoplight so that she could be a reference point for the building itself. Because with a wide angle lens, everything looks a little distorted. So in order to get a really good size difference, or get something that represented the full size of this building, I waited for her to show up, because I saw her coming down the road. Look how far you can see down the road. And so the highlight, of course, is the building. And as a friend pointed out, the building, the leading lines of the building, point right to her. So this is the type of stuff you can do with a wide angle lens like the 23mm f4 for the Fuji GFX system. So let me bring over a much larger lens. I'm actually going to show two. Here is one that we took in Vermont. Well, I took it. My wife and I were driving, and I pulled over to the side of the road. Now, I would have preferred to get a little more of the road leading to the left, but the idea here was to get the leading lines to go right towards the mountain that you see in the distance. And then, of course, you have the forestry on the side, so everything is leading to the mountain, and that's what I wanted. And then the sky was blue, even though it was cold as heck. And the way my edit came out, the blue sky came out a little more saturated. Actually, the camera I'm using to record this video might be saturating the blue just a touch, but once again, I could do this with my 45mm f 2.8, the GF lens that I have, but I would have to go way more back, step back way more. And if I wanted to use this Nikkor 28mm f 3.5, I could do that as well, but it's a manual lens. So I was on the side of the road, I had to take it pretty quickly. And here is another one that I took. Once again, I pulled off the side of the road. Now this time, and I know I shouldn't be bringing up the Fuji GF 110 f2, but this is what I took with the 110. And why am I showing this is because you can see the difference in perspective. Had I taken this shot with the 23mm, you will see a lot more of the surrounding area. What I saw when I was driving down this road and I saw this composition coming up in my head, and as I slowed down, I stopped where I wanted to. So with the 110, which in reality it's about 35mm equivalent, it converts to about an 86mm or something. I was able to get the tree and the side of the house. So all I did here, of course I did a slight edit, but all I did with the aspect ratio was put it to 16:9. I wanted that widescreen look. So you can see the difference where it's with the 110, you get a little more compression and the background kind of looks like it's pushed in a little more. I know to some people that might sound funny. Whereas, as I was showing you with the photo in Queens, if you see this building over here, all the way down the block, this building is pretty far. So that's the difference between wide angle and something that brings in the foreground a little more. And that's why you get some very nice portrait shots where you see the separation between the model and the background, but the background kind of looks like it's very close to the back of the model. So I just wanted to throw this in as a little bonus. But yeah, once again, I'm going to say it every video that I make. Printing is very important, and there's a sense of accomplishment when you print out a photo and you see how it looks, and you have the option to plaster it on your wall or keep it stored away so you can watch it later. So print your work, whether you're a professional or a hobbyist. Do yourself that favor. So anyway, please let me know in the comments section if you own the GF 23mm f4. Once again, I borrowed it from borrowlenses.com. They are not sponsoring me, excuse me. So the next lens I might rent will be the 32 to 64mm. So let me know in the comment section which GF lens you have and which ones do you recommend that I rent next. So as always, I thank you for watching my videos. I am Jose Betancourt. Talk to you soon.